Okay, so lots of activity already this morning. I've been doing overnights for the past like 4 nights, and which means I house sit and dog sit, and I'm staying at someone's house who has like 3 cats and 2 dogs. They went up to like New Hope. They're like, you know, they travel sometimes, and sometimes they go to another house in New Hope, Pennsylvania, which is north of here. And that's the blue. Anyway, so oftentimes I'll wake up super early in the morning. It's this weird thing where I get up early, I come home, I take a shower, then I go back again. So I wind up walking the dogs twice in the morning. So I do that. It's just a weird thing where I have a hard time sleeping later than like 5 o'clock in the morning. And this morning I got up extra early, and it's kind of like, it's kind of like, sometimes you know how you kind of you feel like you're nudged awake. You're like, why am I awake right now? It's kind of like that, but I didn't feel that great. It was like the ugly nudges. So anyway, I woke up. I'm like, all right, I'll walk and feed them now, and then I'll go home, shower. I'll just eat something super early and come back and walk them again before I have another dog walk. So I arrived back to the Latham, 135 South 19th Street, where I live, since May of 2021, May 26th. Really, the lease started at the end of May. I guess they put it on for me because I had to have an emergency return to Philadelphia. So the lease didn't start on June 1st. It started like on May 28th. And I traveled on May 26th. Anyway, so I come back and I walk in, and usually there's a concierge there. Every once in a while they have breaks and lunch hours and stuff, just like every other thing. So I missed him, and I wondered if he was all the way upstairs. But I'm like, it's kind of off. The generator will keep certain lights on, but I pressed the button. First there was a red light next to the elevator button. Must be kids' day today. So anyway, I'm like, I guess I'll press the button to the elevator, even though I'm not sure what the dealio is with the elevator. Sorry, she did it on purpose. Okay. Anyway, I was like, I'll press the button to the elevator just to see if it's running, and it appeared that it would run, but it was dark. I'm like, should I go up on the elevator or should I just walk? I decided to test it, so I went up on the elevator. It seemed to be fine. I kind of recall them saying that that elevators will still run by generator if the power goes out. Like if there's a serious emergency. There are a couple people who, you know, don't want to be stuck on an elevator. Like, you know, if the power were to go out, the generator would kick in and let the people get off the elevator. So anyway, so I get back to the apartment. Sure enough, it's super dark. I usually leave the light on above the stove when I'm not at home, just so that when I return I can see. It's hard to see when you walk in the door unless the window blinds are super open and the lights outside, you know, can shine in, but still your eyes have to adjust and all this. So anyway, it's like, okay, well, I'll use my phone light, and you know, most computers have like at least 2 hours of battery time. So it's like, I'll use my phone and I'll turn on my laptop just to have some light while I wanted to shower anyway. So I did that. Did I turn on my laptop? I did turn on the laptop and like put on like lo-fi music just to with like dancing mushrooms as a graphic, you know, and sure enough, right around 5 a.m. It came back on, like somewhere around 5-ish. I kind of forget. It's like, well, there it is, boom, came back on. The heat came on. And in my apartment and many others, but not all, the refrigerator will start beeping, because there is like an alarm that will sound, say you left your door ajar, and the refrigerator will like beep to let you know, oops, the door is still ajar. You can turn those things off, but it'll come back on if the power goes out and the refrigerator is rebooted. So Anyway, so that started beeping and I had to remember how to turn that off because it's a thing of like, which button is it? And I'm short, so I can't see all the imagery and the words and stuff like that. So that's that. I returned to a very dark Latham. It was really quiet though. I will say this, when I left last night for the overnight, I remember thinking, wow, it's incredibly peaceful in the Latham. Like, it was incredibly quiet, and the electricity was on when I left to head to my overnights. So I go back and forth all day long between whatever, you know, all the things that I do. And then I, you know, when I do overnights, I show up by like 7, 8 o'clock at least, if not sooner, for an overnight. So, anyway, when I left last night, I remember thinking, wow, this is incredibly quiet in the building. And many people who live in the building where I live often go to school or they go away over Christmas, either or, both. And it'll probably be quiet throughout a lot of January until students come back who go to whatever you call it, UPenn, Philadelphia University, maybe a Temple person here and there, Drexel University and stuff like that. So anyway, that's what I thought. It was super quiet. When I returned this morning, it was incredibly quiet still. And I was like, that's interesting, because it's almost like last night, even though the electricity was on last night and it was off this morning. Also, what was I gonna say? When I left last night, when I got outside, it was super crowded on the streets. And that amazed me, because often even on my floor, I happen to be, you know, up on the 13th floor, you can still hear some things, like you can hear anyone who comes in to busk, like playing music, but you can still hear people from time to time, and you would know, like, typically if it's super crowded. But when I went outside last night, even though it was super quiet in the building, it was incredibly busy on the streets, because I guess everybody's out, you know, either returning stuff or going out to dinner or whatever people do, you know. I didn't realize, I knew there was scaffolding at the Bellevue, but wow, we were talking, they did the entire building. Did I know this? I remember it over here. Wow, that is a massive improvement project. Is that what they're calling it? I've never seen a building totally scaffolded like this before. So usually they do sections, but we got a guy up there midway up walking on the stairs, got a flag, you know, 4 floors from the top up there. Wow, the neighborhood would often use the restaurant on the top of the Bellevue for events. I forget what it's called. Like, I always want to say R2 or whatever. It's not that. It's, I get two things messed up, two names of restaurants mixed up. But there's a really cool restaurant at the top. Elevators going up over here. That is crazy. Also, big wreath here. I forget. Isn't Blick up on Chestnut? Okay, I need to go to Blick, but we needed to see the Bellevue apparently. And this is across